there it is.
So you finally hit level 60. Now what? Well, I'll tell you what. Wait, never mind. You and I both know that we're not going to do something as suicidal as going outside. So let's do the other thing instead. You see, that abomination of a character that you made may have just hit level 60, but them stank-ass shoes that you're wearing are still whack. And as for the rest of your foot, well, as the Zoomers would say, it's not even mid at best. So what we're going to do is we're going to be fixing this little number right here for you. And we're also going to be unlocking that thing over there that kind of works like a charged ultimate ability. See, the plan now that you're 60 is to turn you into the PvP or PvE beast that you were always meant to be. Or, you know, you could just play the game for fun. Yeah, didn't think so. Now, to get started on our 60 plus journey after our 0 to 60 journey has just finished, the first thing you're going to want to do is head over to the Great Cleave if you chose the right faction, or either Shattered Mountain or Ebon Scale if you chose the wrong ones. You'll be looking for that Lisa Simpson haircut above a quest marker on the map to confirm that you're picking up the right quest. Complete this quest. I promise it's not that hard. Lube up those gamer abs with the oil you're going to end up making, and you should be able to get your way into Brimstone Sands without being recorded as a COVID death. Now, the point of doing this first and before anything else isn't actually to boost up your gear score. That part's kind of secondary here. What we're looking to do is bypass this really shitty number that you're holding on to right now. Now, the Brimstone MSQ and side quests here hand out some pretty decent legendary gear that's going to help you along the way, and it will make your life infinitely easier. Doesn't matter if you're a focus, dex, int, or strength build. The one caveat here is that if you're a blunderbuss, hatchet, or ice gauntlet user, this is AGS just subtly telling you to go fuck. So you're doing the quests, you're making the progress. You may have just noticed that Amazon keeps on showing you their balls. No, don't panic. Don't worry. They're doing this on purpose, and this is gonna help your gear score career. If you would just hold on to them for a moment. See, you're supposed to take these gypsum orbs and redeem them for what's likely going to be trashier gear than what you're already wearing if you've got the same levels of luck that I do. But that's okay, because it means that while we're doing other stuff, we're already starting to improve the gear score number that's holding you back. Now, personally, I suggest that while you're fondling these balls all the way up into your kiln, what you're looking to do is focus on your gear over your weapons. See, the weapons are nice, but the logic here is that you're always going to be using and wearing pieces of gear. So it is far more important to get that number up first. Weapons, that'll come along the way. You get a lot of them from the expeditions later. I'm also saying this because the weapons that you're going to end up picking up while going through the BS update are not scaled down the way normie gear is. If nothing else, and you don't care about collecting all of the legendaries, but just the ones that you're planning to use, then I suggest that once you've done so, you head over to the northeast side of the Brimstone map and you go and pick up this quest marker right over here. The quest itself is fairly straightforward. You're going to do a jumping puzzle and then make sure that your heart weighs less than the pyramids. What this does is turn New World from a 3-button game into a 4-button game. Once this is over, you're going to be able to slot Heartgems into this little gap, and you're going to be picking up most of those from the expeditions you're going to be doing next. This newfangled ability that you've just picked up kind of works like a charged ultimate that builds up over time as you deal and take damage, and what you slot in here it's entirely up to you and your playstyle and what your role is. And the reason I'm telling you to do this so early on is because I consider this mandatory. This Heartgem works for both PvE and PvP. So it changes the game entirely if you're the guy without one and you're getting your ass beat by the guy who does have one. Once you've thoroughly exhausted yourself on the quest here and the few 2D cutscenes where they don't even show the new main villain's feet. I mean, come on, AGS. It's like you want your game to fail. Do you even understand how to thirst trap the degenerate side of the MMO audience? I mean, how do you think Final Fantasy got to where it is today? Anyway, I digress. It's time now to start focusing on the expeditions, the PvP, and taking way more of those balls from Amazon that we just got a mild taste of while doing the Brimstone Sands quests. If you're a PvP ape, then now's the time to start joining outpost rushes and arenas. You'll get shiny ruby and garnet rocks from these that can be turned into gypsum orbs, and if you focus on OPR specifically, you'll get a chest with some terribly statted gear in it each time. You can get 2 ruby gypsum for OPR in a day, and you can get 2 garnet gypsum from the arena a day. And if you haven't gotten your 2 garnets for the day and you did an arena, that's because you suck. And what I mean by this is that if you lost the arena match, the drop rate for the garnet drops to 50%. So there's no guarantee of getting them the first time around. Good luck with that if you hate PvP. If instead you're a PvE monkey, then this is the time to head into the expeditions. I recommend you start off with running the Genesis and Lazarus expeditions before graduating to the others. What you're looking to try and get to is about a gear score of about 580 before moving on to everything else. Keep in mind I said a gear score, not an average expertise level. Don't get those two confused. And if you really love those Bezos balls and you cannot get enough of them every day, then you'll want to go out of your way to craft a topaz potion and drink it before running into those expeditions for some topaz gypsum. You don't have to be in an expedition to get topaz gypsum. I'm just telling you to do it this way because it's the most efficient and you don't have to go out of your way to go kill mobs above level 55. But really, you can do this anyway. Now, to make the piss jug potion, it's not actually that hard. All you have to do is get some of the fancier arcana material, head over to an arcane station, and crank out a potion. Now, once you have found your feat, your gear score's at 580, you're getting the sapphire gypsums from killing bosses, then it's time that I suggest you go and look for the repeatable expedition side quests. The most straightforward and easiest to complete every single time you do an expedition run are the Barnacles and Black Powder expedition and the Tempest expedition, which you're going to have to complete anyway if you're planning to do the full main storyline MSQ. For completing these repeatables, and don't get confused, they're not dailies, they're repeatables. So you can do these as many times as you want in a day. You'll end up getting some gypsum orbs and also a glorified loot box that has some pretty decent gear in it as long as it's above 590. Now, if you do all of that, regardless of whether this takes you, I don't know, a few days or a few weeks, eventually you're going to be soft capped at an expertise level of 600. Now, once you're there, you're going to be using those exact same methods that I just described to start collecting umbral shards, which you should have a few of already. Now, those shards over there are not just there to look pretty. What you're going to use them for is boosting your gear score from 600 to 625. My recommendation when using these is use it on a piece of gear that at least has a name attached to it. Because when you do that, the gear score bumped from 590 to 600 will turn that purple piece into an orange piece. Pumping up this gear in specific gets you some very good generalized pieces that are just very useful. I would suggest that if you're looking for a specific perk for whatever weapon build you're going for, that you do that only after gear score 600, because you just can't upgrade any piece of gear that's under 590. So either use those umbral shards on a piece of gear with a specific name, or with a perk that's very specific to your unique playstyle, because otherwise you're just wasting them. And that's it. That's what I recommend for most players. But there is another path. The path of the sweat. These next few hints I don't actually recommend that most players focus on, particularly those playing for fun, because it just makes the game more grindy, and secondly, it's just not that fun to do as a primary focus. Look, you'll likely stumble across these gypsum and gear score increases naturally as you just play the game and have fun. But for those out there who just have to know how to wring those very last multicolored kidney stones out of the game, well then here you go. Emerald gypsum comes from any trade skill after you hit 200. Every time you smack one of the small pips on this ring, you're gonna get one. You can only get one of these a day, so keep that in mind. Focus on either gathering or refining, since you can do it in a batch and get it almost immediately if you've got the materials you need. Obsidian gypsum is for killing certain open world bosses at level 60 or above. You can get 3 a day by going AFK in your brain and just killing the same guy over and over again. So find out who drops it, pick a spot, and get comfy. Diamond gypsum comes from the concealed vaults that you can grab from either elite chest runs done in the open world or in expeditions. You can get 6 of these a day, but really you're probably just going to stumble across these if you're doing expeditions. Citrine gypsum are gained by entering one of the arena instances that you'll find around the map. You can think of these as mini expeditions where there are no ads and you just fight one boss. You can get 2 of these a day. Amethyst gypsum are gained by purifying level 60 plus corruption breaches that you'll find scattered around any level 60 zone. You can get 7 of these a day, but unless you've got a few groups of dedicated people to run around with and get these done, I don't see that happening, so good luck. Then finally, the one that either everyone forgets or just doesn't care to do. If you have leveled your faction reputation to max, you can buy 2 more of these orbs using your faction tokens. So at least those tokens do have some use because, well, the gear above them is kind of just trash now. Once you've done all of that, once you've hit a gear score of 625, you've maxed out your crafting, you've been to every expedition, you've seen every story cutscene, then the thing I recommend you go and do, play another game until the next update because, well, you're at the pinnacle. What else are you going to do? For me, this is the sad and the happy part about New World. You've paid $60 for an experience. You're not paying a subscription. You can come back to this game whenever you feel like it. That means if you've done everything, you've completed everything, and you're just waiting for the next update, you're not losing anything by just putting the game down. You're not on that treadmill forever. But the sad part about that is that you're not on that treadmill forever. Unless you're very specifically looking to get super good at PvP and just be the best on your server, or you've got like a really hardcore focus on helping your company or, governing or wars or anything like that, then there's just not that much to do from this point outwards, because we're all just going to be waiting on dear Scotty boy to give us another update. Oh, but one more thing that not a lot of people are probably going to mention is that if you've hit level 60 and you haven't managed to max out all of your weapons yet, then what you can do, at least for fun, is go and find yourself a weapon mastery farming spot. I recommend this one in particular because that's where the Amazon devs have self-inserted their tired selves into the game and you can go beat them up. If you go out there and level up all your weapons, it gives you just a lot more playstyle variety. You can try out a whole bunch of new things that, well, other players who've just leveled up 2 weapons don't have access to. So that's the extra tip for the day, if you care. Other than that, I hope this helps someone. So as always, a big thank to all my subscribers, both old and new. And a special thank to those members of the Endgame Grind Illuminati, as well as those people who supported me over on Twitch while I wasted my life in front of a screen for the last 2 weeks, ensuring that as a Knight of the Coconut, we won. I'm quite proud to say that not even Asmongold and his band of simps got ahead of us. But anyway, more content soon. Bye.